Hi, I'm Jim Covington. Today is July 17, 2015. I'd like to welcome you to this week's issue of ISBA Statehouse Review. I'd like to talk to you about one bill that the General Assembly just passed last week, both chambers, and so it's on its way to the governor, and then 4 or 5 bills that Governor Honor has signed into law. The first bill that just was passed is House Bill 2640, makes about 6 changes to the Condominium Property Act, and then 1 change to the Common Interest Community Association Act. House Bill 2640 is sponsored by Representative Kelly Cassidy from Chicago and Senator Heather Staines from Chicago. And here are the changes to the Condominium Property Act. It requires that the bylaws mandate that each unit owner receive a copy of the proposed annual budget at least 25 instead of the current law 30 days before adoption by the Board of Managers. It authorizes a board to ratify and confirm actions taken in response to a quote emergency close quote. The bylaws must require that the Board of Managers give notice to the unit owners of the emergency and the general description of the actions taken because of that emergency within 7 days of that emergency. 3, it provides that the condominium instruments may be amended with the approval of, or the new language now, or notice to any mortgagee or other lien holder of record if required under the provisions of the instruments. Current law requires approval of, with the approval of any mortgagees required under the provisions of the condominium instruments. 4, if there is an error in the instrument so that the instrument does not conform to the Condominium Property Act or other law, it allows the association to correct the instrument by an amendment adopted by 2/3 of the Board of Managers without a unit owner vote. If there is a provision in the condominium instruments requiring or allowing unit owners, mortgagees, or other lien holders of record to vote to approve an amendment to a condominium instrument, or for the mortgagees or other lien holders to be given notice of it, that provision is not applicable to an amendment to the extent that that amendment corrects an omission, error, or inconsistency to conform the instruments to law. 5, it expands what a board may discuss in a closed session to include, quote, information relating to, close quote, litigation, employment, and a unit owner's unpaid share of common expenses. And finally, 6, it allows board members to participate in and act at any meeting of the Board of Managers in person, by telephonic means, or by use of any acceptable technological means in which all persons participating in the meeting can communicate with each other. The final thing House Bill 2640 does, and this is to the Common Interest Community Association Act, it deletes current law, the language that provides that all provisions of the declaration, bylaws, and other community instruments severed by the Act shall be revised by the Board of Directors independent of the membership to comply with the Act. It deletes that language. Now, I'd like to talk to you about a couple of bills that the governor has signed into law. I didn't put in your PDF that he did sign into law allowing bobcats to be trapped. And then and I heard on the radio this morning he had signed yesterday reinstituting under certain conditions happy hour in Illinois of restaurants and liquor establishments. And I didn't write about that, but I thought I'd point that out to you. But Public Act 99-24 amends the mortgage foreclosure article, and it is introduced by Senator John Mulrow of Chicago and Representative Lou Langaskokie, and it provides that a court is not required to appoint a special representative for a deceased mortgagor to defend an action under 4 conditions. 1 is if there's a beneficiary under a transfer of death instrument. 2, a person or entity that was conveyed title to the property by the deceased mortgagor before death. 3, the person or entity that was conveyed title to the property under the administration of the deceased estate. Or 4, trust that was conveyed title to the property. That will take effect on January 1, 2016. Public Act 99-41 amends the Common Interest Community Association Act. It is introduced by Senator Mike Hastings from Matson and Representative Kelly Burke from Oak Lawn, and it makes associations organized under organized as limited liability companies subject to the Common Interest Community Association Act. That took effect immediately on July 14th, 2015. The final bill I'd like to talk to you about will take effect on January 1, 2016, and it amends the Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Confidentiality Act. Public Act 99-28 provides that records and communications made or created in the course of providing mental health or developmental disability services are protected from disclosure regardless whether the records and communications are made or created in the course of a, quote, therapeutic relationship, close quote. That will take effect on January 1, 2016. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.